Welcome back.
Dude, much needed.
Yeah, I had some time off. Didn't get to Friday's episode, so we're sorry about that. But yeah, hopefully we've got a good one in store for y'all.
Don't be so somber. Let's
All right,
go. We had
my
a little bit
bad.
of break. Let's bring the energy here. Let's get this week 10 done, week 11 soon. Let's do it.
All right, well, let's jump into it then.
Welcome to the greatest podcast on earth. Nothing agreed. We have a great show for you tonight, so stay tuned and buckle up.
Yo, welcome back to another episode. Nothing agreed. Back with the boys today. What's all the looks about? We always gonna bring some flair to it, some new drive.
Yeah, but that wasn't it.
All right, okay. We'll how about we'll erase that one next time. Today,
Let's take that one out of
Baron.
the inventory.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just move on from that.
There,
Today,
there we go.
I got you. Today, we have week 11 in the books, done,
hmm
completed. Week 12 upcoming. It feels weird that we have 7 weeks left of football, of regular season football.
Yeah, it does. It's kind of sad because then the playoffs will come, and then it'll be over. So and then we have to wait
And
again. But
yeah, my team's not in that, so
I think most people would be pretty satisfied if they tuned in this weekend because it was pretty exciting. I think it was 5 games all ended in like came down to the final like play, like the last kick, which is like an NFL record for a single week or for a single day. So that's
yeah.
pretty cool. And then it was like 7 teams had were like games that were like one score or something like that. I don't remember specifically, but yeah, very close games all throughout the league. A lot of division matchups as well. Yeah, I mean, we got a lot to talk about today. We missed the last episode, so let's just jump in. And starting those divisional matchups was Thursday night football, where
Yeah.
the Jets and the Patriots, where the Travion Henderson agenda is on the steep rise. He had 2 back-to-back amazing games. I think it was 2 touchdowns in the first game and 3 in the second one. So, or maybe it was 3 and 3. I don't remember, but yeah, he's
You got it right the first time. Yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
He's doing a lot. Drake May continues to put his name out there for MVP. The Patriots defense played well all around, and at the end of the day, Patriots are atop of their division and are competing with the Broncos for the AFC.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's pretty impressive with the Patriots is I expected them to be like at least make a bounce back from what they were last year, but top of the AFC basically, and now 2 games above the Bills, if I'm not mistaken, still, or a
Mm-hmm.
game and a half. I mean, I had the Bills as one of my kind of runaway favorites for the AFC. So this is something. Drake May is now second now, but still one of the top in the MVP race.
Yeah, and you look at the other side of that game with the Jets. They've benched Justin Fields, traded away their defense, and yeah, it just kind of feels like they're moving on until next season. It feels like maybe Tyrod Taylor can spark something. But what are you even competing for at this point? I guess statistically they can still make the playoffs, but what is that going to accomplish for anyone? So I don't. I
True.
think what are they projected? I know it's top 5, but is it what like three?
Top three or two.
I think it's
Um,
3.
I think
But
they're
yeah,
still technically they're 1 or 2 right now because I think they're the only 2 teams with 1 win because the Titans only have 1 win.
yeah. But the Titans have the first overall pick.
Oh no, they have 2 wins. That's right. The Jets have 2 wins because they beat the
Yeah,
Bengals and they beat the Raiders. Was it? No, the Browns. The Browns. They were 2.5
yeah,
point favorites against the Browns. I was trying to remember the game. They were the favorites and they won. So yeah,
yeah. Um, yeah. So, yeah. No, the Titans have the first overall pick unanimously right now. But yeah, that was Thursday night football. Yeah, we'll move on. Final overseas game officially in Madrid for the first time. Dolphins
Hmm.
taking on the Commanders. And yeah, this was a close game to the end. I didn't watch a second of it, but the Dolphins,
Oh, really?
yeah, I was driving that morning, but the
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dolphins squeaked out a win. I guess technically they're the
Wow.
home team, but I guess you would say that's on the road. I would feel like,
It's a neutral site game technically. If
yeah,
you want to say they are the road team, I feel like it should be based on how many miles you have to travel. Who's the home and away team? Sometimes
yeah, it should just be
um,
an away game for both teams.
they can't do that for scheduling reasons.
I mean, they definitely can. They can just be like, because there's every team plays what 17 games.
Yeah.
So every season, some team has more home games or more away games. Like, that doesn't even matter. Just make it schedule it in a way where both teams need to play an away game that week and put them in the European game. That's the easiest way to
It's
do it.
weird. It's weird
I mean, I'm sure it's a
because
little
then,
complicated, but it can't be that
yeah.
hard. But I just
Well,
feel like
that game was
it's. I just sorry, I was
was
gonna say, I can't
go ahead.
imagine how NFL owners would be happy about the league making them lose out revenue from a Sunday game because they're saying, yeah, one of your home games is now overseas.
Who knows? Maybe they could make more revenue off those games because of how much like concessions are getting sold there in terms of like jerseys, in terms of ticket prices and stuff like that. Because like those stadiums sell out. Like a Miami Dolphins home game probably does not sell out. So if they are allowed to touch the profits of that, then they might make more.
Yeah, it just depends on the percentage that they get. Regardless,
I
yeah,
mean, the NFL is doing it because they make more money off those games
it's
than
true.
yeah. So
But yeah, both these teams not really playing for anything this season, mainly just pride. The Commanders are beaten up. Defense is old as hell, and yeah, that's pretty much just the
hmm
answer to, or not the answer, the cause of their problems. Dolphins. Where do we even start? But yeah, they got a good morale victory. Again, I don't know why we're still trying to win games. You need to be looking to getting a higher draft stock, but if you're not trying to get a quarterback, then I guess yeah, this
their
team has.
players don't want to lose games, Baron. Nobody wants to lose
I mean,
games.
I
That's
know
the
the
thing.
players don't, but
And that's a
higher up,
whole investigation.
yeah,
That's a
it's
whole
true.
investigation if that
That's true.
happens. Because of
That's
the
true.
remember the Brian Flores thing with like remember that a
That's
couple years
true.
back where Brian Flores got told he had to lose games on purpose in 2020. Yeah,
Yeah, well, if you can do it discreetly, then that's what you should be doing because I mean, you need to put yourself in better position to get better talent. So that's how you do it. So yeah, we'll move on though. We got another divisional game to talk about. An absolute mollywhopping by the Steelers to the Bengals for revenge for that game the other week. Joe Flacco's home debut for the Bengals, but yeah, not much to talk about in this game other than the Steelers defense getting back to that elite status that they're kind of historically known for under Mike Tomlin. So that's good to see if you're a Steelers fan. And yeah,
offense clicked, which is good to see. Even though it's the Bengals defense, it's always good to see that your offense can do something too. Aaron Rodgers now injured,
yeah, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
doesn't need surgery, but Mason Rudolph season, baby.
Again, nothing's very impressive to me when you play this Bengals defense. Like I said before, there's definitely college football teams that have better defensive units out there than the Cincinnati Bengals do. I digress, but yeah, Steelers Steelers defense. This is definitely a good game for them to get right heading into the playoffs, which is looking like it's going to be more of a challenge to make than they have previously thought. But Jaguars and Chargers. I don't think a lot of people
This to me,
saw this coming.
yeah, this to me, I had Jaguars money line, but this
Okay,
to me was the most. It
uh,
has to be said.
I know, I
This
know.
to me was the most surprising score of it all. Like I really expected Justin Herbert played like he was back in pre-K, like he didn't know what he was doing. And that's not really helped because his offensive line isn't great, and that offense just wasn't clicking. And the
Yeah,
Jags, man, it was just after really, I mean, it was just every quarter it was like at least one time it was like in the end zone, in the end zone, in the end zone, in the end zone. So Tuden had himself a great game. Backing up Travis Etienne. Kamani Vidal did not. I saw guys like Tim Patrick making plays for the Jaguars. If Tim Patrick is making plays, you lost. So that's how you know you're probably not going to win that football game.
Fair enough. Yeah, was not a good showing from the Chargers on either side of the ball. Sorry, but yeah, Jaguars, great game. Defensively mainly holding that Chargers offense to 6 points. We know that they're capable of getting really hot. So yeah, that's a good showing. And yeah, like you said, the ground game was flowing, and Jaguars are continuing to push for the wild card. I don't think they're in really any contention to push for the division at the moment, but we shall see. But we can move on unless there's anything you want to say about that game. To the Buccaneers and the Bills, and this is a good game to get back for the Bills, back on track after they didn't lose last week, did they? Or did who am I thinking? Yeah, no, they didn't lose last week, but they almost did. Oh no, they did lose last week. Sorry, I'm thinking of another game. They did lose last week to the Dolphins after they beat the Chiefs. That was it. So had a lot of questions about the Bills going into this game. Back at home, we know they're a great team at home, so I think that's why a lot of the money was on them. And yeah, I mean they just proved they're a great home team, better team. Yesterday or 2 days ago. To me, it just kind of said a lot about the Buccaneers as like a team. We just seemed to kind of, I guess, wither as the game went on. Like they just couldn't hang with the Bills. And yeah, that was kind of the story of the game. They were electric at first, but just couldn't keep it up.
Bucks 5-1 now to 6-4, baby. Who called that? This guy right here, baby. This guy right here. So
Yeah, the
Josh
injuries are
Allen had
not.
himself a MVP type game with 6 tutties. Bucks defense scared me. That game, it's now like okay. Even if I think I think people overrated the Bucks a little bit. I think the injuries don't help though. But that makes me concerned is when they get kind of the health back. Woo! Is
Bless
when they
you.
get the health back, is the defense gonna hold up for them? Is like I feel like the reason they're gonna lose a playoff game is a game like that, where they put up 32 points, but their defense somehow gives up 44.
Yeah.
So that's why I still don't have the Bucks as one of my top guys in the NFC. Never did, never have, probably never will this season unless something really changes. So that's my big concern with them.
Yeah, like you said, injuries are definitely not helping them. They and like you said, the defense needs to be able to play through 4 quarters. Because yeah, I mean, when you put up 32 points as an offense, you should have a very good chance to win that game. So yeah, that's got to be cleaned up come playoff time. And they're, like you said, dropping down to 6-5. Is it? Is that right?
64.
Six
They
and
went from
four.
5-1 to 6-4.
Yeah. Well, they have some competition coming up on their tails, so they need to play a little bit better if they want to secure that division. The Bills, good, like we said, good game. Looked good after losing to the Dolphins last week. Like Josh Allen, MVP performance, 6 total touchdowns. Cannot say anything bad about that. Defense, again, this is a team that's contending for a Super Bowl. Probably want to see less than 32 points allowed, especially at home by a potential playoff team, a fringe playoff team, I guess we could say. So, yeah. Still some questions there defensively, and I want to see this kind of performance in a road game. That's probably the other biggest question out of this game is we know this is probably one of the best home teams in the NFL, but can you do this on the road? Because especially with the way this season's going and how that division's playing out, you're going to be playing every playoff game on the road. So, got to be able to perform there.
Yep. Bills got to pick it up. But I still like them, man. I still like them. I just feel like the Pats are gonna slip. I really do.
All right, we'll see, but let's move on to another divisional matchup. Came down to the very last kick, like we said. And are we ready to stop losing faith in start losing faith in JJ McCarthy?
Not
No,
yet, not
not
yet.
yet.
It's
All
still a
right,
rookie. It's still a rookie quarterback.
Brooks is rocking with 9 guys.
I'm rocking with the alter ego, baby. You know I'm rocking with 9 all day, baby. Not all
Um,
day, but again, it's a rookie. You can't just throw him away 1 year and 4 games in. He's struggling, but you gotta. This is the problem. You gotta give him a little bit of time. You know, I mean, everyone brings up the good old cliche of Peyton Manning, but you gotta give people time because you don't know what they can develop into. So,
that's that.
I
That's
personally, right? I was never high on JJ McCarthy. I have tweets about it, stuff about it where I don't know why he was getting picked that high, but if you're going to pick a guy that high, you need to give some guy some time. So, yeah.
yeah. I 100% agree with everything you just said. Was not too big on him, and he clearly needs more time to develop. But I've sat here. I've made this point multiple times, and
Yeah.
now it's gaining national traction. This Vikings team is built to win right now, and JJ McCarthy is not the guy that puts them in a position to win right now. Um, and yeah, and everyone's looking at the front office head coach and being like, "You see what's going on over here in Seattle? We'll get to their game here in a minute because Sam Darnold did not have the best week, but still look at his season. I mean, he's in the
Yeah.
MVP conversations for a reason. So, and he's doing all that with, the Seattle team. I think that Vikings team would be a lot better than the Seattle team would be if they still had Sam Darnold. But, yeah, it was not a great showing from the Vikings. They did have a nice kind of late sort of rally there at the end of the game to take the lead, but ultimately some special teams mishaps and some good throws from Caleb Williams put the Bears in field goal position to win by 2 points in Minnesota. We'll talk about the divisions at the end of the episode, so we'll save that question for later. But another divisional matchup where the Titans almost got their second win of the season. So close, yet so very far.
Good drive for Davis Mills. Hey, it's any given Sunday in the NFL. You know, any given Sunday. But that's what was needed for the Texans. Just go there, get the victory with the backup quarterback. And now you go into next week with CJ Stroud. And I think a tough game. I think it's Monday Night Football against the Niners.
Sounds
We'll
right.
get there on Friday, but I'm just saying, I think that's the game. And that's a tough one. You know, that's not an easy cakewalk right now with the Niners, especially with the way they're playing. It's one of the better teams in the NFC. So that is a good victory, in my opinion, especially with what's coming ahead. It's instead of being 4-6, you're 5-5, and you still have that leg. Not only, in my opinion, not only are you still in the playoff race, I think they're a really backwards way into the AFC race, the South race. So, because I think they still play the Colts twice. So
Yeah,
it's there.
I completely kind of just zoned out, and you started talking about the playoff race. I thought we were talking about a completely different team. Texans, good win. When does CJ Stroud come back? Did you just mention
Next
that?
week.
Next week?
He's been
Okay.
out for 2 weeks with a concussion. So he'll be back next week, especially with Monday game. So he gets an extra day as well. So that's a little more than 3 weeks.
Cool. This offensive line's still horrible. I know this defense is really good. I still expect them to lose both games to the Colts. I don't think that's something that can just. I don't think that's something that C.J. Stroud over Davis Mills is going to make drastically better. I think we can comfortably say over these first 3 years of C.J. Stroud's career, he's not a bad quarterback by any means, but he's not this game-changing quarterback who can play behind a bad offensive line.
He
He
can't
can't
play
make
behind
it
a bad
work.
offensive line, but some QBs can't. I mean, you look at the bad offensive line. Justin Herbert doesn't have a bad offensive line, but when the guys get injured, he's had a bad offensive line, and that really affects him. I mean, CJ, we've seen him get it done. You know he can get it done, so you need to give him a little more help.
Yeah, I'm not too sold on him, but this is a good win for them. We'll see how their season ends. Playoffs, I don't think so, but
I don't think so either, but it's still one of those things where it is a possibility.
that's true.
So,
But it's technically it's still a possibility for the Jets as well. So Titans.
yeah, but realistic possibility.
Okay, yeah, that was my point. Titans. Not much to say. This is a team that's a long way from being competitive. got a lot of work to do in the off season and the next few seasons to come. So yeah, we'll just leave it there. Almost had them this time, guys.
Yeah.
Have another divisional matchup to talk about. I guess I'll let you take this one, so I'm sure you have a lot to say. I don't need to say anything else.
If you guys are new somehow, this is the Atlanta Falcons as a fan of them. I don't want to be a fan of them. I kind of want to put in my reservation for a new team. But here's what I have to
He's
say.
hopping in the
Okay,
portal.
this is what I have to say. Okay, I was thinking a little bit, and I was thinking in the last decade, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to include the Super Bowl. Okay, the day we lost the Super Bowl, the day of the Super Bowl game, we lost. Okay, to now, I think we're a bottom 5 franchise in the NFL. And I was really thinking about it because I was like, who can be lower than us? Tennessee. Tennessee went to the AFC Championship. Cleveland Browns, maybe. I think Jacksonville Jaguars is a shout. They also went to an AFC Championship. They were really close to a Super Bowl. They had a couple decent years. I mean, there's some bad franchises out there, but I don't know if there's Jets. Yeah, that's the one. Jets.
I promise you that I can find you another. Hold on.
You probably can. Maybe the Giants. But you have to also think
Texans.
those teams have been. No, I would disagree. I would totally disagree with the Texans. Texans have been to a divisional round. They've been to multiple wild card rounds. Remember, since
they
that
haven't
Super Bowl
won
loss,
a conference championship.
Correct. We have not won a conference championship since that Super Bowl loss. That's what I'm saying.
The Super Bowl.
And to me, if we can count that Super Bowl loss, but as being in the Super Bowl, but to me that's the most heartbreaking loss and most gut-wrenching loss of any franchise ever in NFL history. I don't care who you are, what you are. That is the fact.
Yeah,
because you don't blow that big of a lead.
Don't think anyone was
exactly.
debating that.
So that is terrorizing. Okay, and then you have to think about we've won one playoff game since then and been to one playoffs. We beat the Rams and then we lost the Eagles the next year. And that was the year the Eagles won the Super Bowl with BDN with Nick Foles. So, yeah, this to me is horrible. It's a horrible franchise. It sucks. Last thing I want to say, and then I'll get to the game really quickly. We had Ben Johnson. We had Mike McDonald. We had Mike Vrabel. We had Jim Harbaugh. You can throw Belichick in there. I won't. But we had these 4 guys all pop in for an interview and had a chance to get them, and we didn't go for them. We got Raheem Morris first. We got a guy who we fired first. So I'm done with this franchise sometimes. Like, this is bad. This is as big a suffering as it gets. Anyways, the game, Kirk Cousins is trash. We know that.
Yeah.
We were going to win if Michael Penix stays in, but still getting close. We allowed Bryce Young to have a career day. Bryce Young is like 5-1 against us in his career. Mm-hmm. Like, you compare his Falcon stats compared to his regular season, that's other team stats, horrible. So, some people are saying there's no point in taking because we don't have a first round pick. Well, we still have our other picks. So I think we should tank because that gives us a better chance like the 3rd and the 4th and the 5th round to get higher slots. Yeah, this is honestly, I think, one of the bad franchises to be a fans of, not only right now, but in the past 10 years. And the Falcons will have a lot of cleaning house to do this offseason.
Yeah. I can't think of a coach on that staff that needs to stay.
I can.
That's fair. I'll leave that to you.
It was a bad week last week, but I still think Jeff Ulbrich with the Atlanta Falcons has been a change in what our defense has never been. For example, we're the first team ever in Super Bowl history, like ever in the Super Bowl era, to have 18 or more team sacks and lose 3 games in a row. Like, in those 3 games, have 18 sacks or more in 3 games in a row. I remember, if you look at all the charts in the last 10 years, we have the lowest sacks by like 50. So the fact we're actually getting pressure and getting to the quarterback, great. All so right. I like Ulbrich there. I don't want him to be a head coach, though. I like him as a DC.
Fair enough. So yeah, don't really know what coach is gonna fix that. I'm gonna get kind of off the rails a little here, so try and stay with me. Now I know that you don't have a first round pick this year, and I know that Kirk Cousins makes way too much money, but I just don't think Michael Penix might be the answer either. I'm just not sold on him from an outside perspective, and I know
Okay.
there's some sort of, and trust me, you know the way I talk about my quarterback. I know there's some sort of fan love connection towards your quarterback, and you want them to be good. But from my outside perspective, Michael Penix is just not the guy. And there's not a lot, but there's some rumors starting to brew, and when there's smoke, there's usually a little fire. That there's sentiment on both sides on a separation between the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow. That's the type of guy I think the Falcons should sell their future for. You open up a lot of money to take on a guy like that when you get rid of Kirk Cousins. You give a guy like Joe Burrow a pretty good offensive line. You give him a dominant run game. Granted, you got to get a good play caller in there as well. We also, if you're a fan of the show, know how bad play calling can ruin a good team. But you give him a dominant run game. Imagine what Joe Burrow can. I mean, I think if he's as good as everyone says he is, he doesn't need these elite wide receivers to succeed. So Drake
He would have
London,
a he
yeah,
would have
I'm
Drake
saying
London.
Drake London and
In my opinion, Drake London is an elite wide
no, I'm
receiver.
I'm
I think he's
saying Drake.
proven
I'm
that
not
this
saying
year.
Drake London
Yeah.
isn't, but he doesn't
I
need
know,
like
but
this elite wide receiver. I mean, he's got Kyle Pitts. He'll have an elite tight end. Whether
he probably
elite,
won't be there
elite,
next year, to be honest.
we'll see.
So
But yeah, but that's to me. If I'm the Falcons, I'm paying very, very close attention to the QB market these next 2 years, because if a guy like that becomes available for the way that this team is built, because this will easily, if Joe Burrow went to the Falcons next season, that'll easily be the best defense he's ever had in his career or his college or professional career.
yes.
Yeah. So I think that's the kind of move. If it becomes an option, that's something you sell however many first round picks you can to get, even if that means you don't have a first round pick for the next 6 years. But I think that's the move. And you got to get someone competent in there to work with him and play calling. But you make moves like that. That's something that can turn this franchise around, I think.
Yeah. We'll see where it goes. I am still a Penix guy, quite frankly, because he didn't really play last year. When he did play last year, he looked pretty solid actually when he played last year. Um, and that's still kind of questionable, just what I'm about to say. But Zach Robinson does not know how to play with Penix, unfortunately, because the pistol is for guys who are fast, and he's not fast. And it's just been a bad year overall with everything that's happened. I'm still going to believe in my quarterback. We'll see what happens.
Sorry, you can finish. You can finish.
The only thing that's concerning is the many injuries that's happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm still going to rock with my guy for another year or two. Just like I say with young guys, Jason McCarthy being one, give him a little bit of time. He's had some bad. I mean, other than Drake London, he has nobody really to throw to. Darnell Mooney's been horrible this year.
Yeah.
That's why he's been horrible. Casey Washington is his 3. So, yeah.
Get
Baron went who?
Get Kyle
Baron
Pitts
went
the
who?
ball.
No, Kyle Pitts gets involved and he sucks. So let's move off Kyle Pitts and let's move on to the next game after your statement.
I did see something, so you can correct me if this is false or not, but it's like Michael Penix's knee injuries from college were like so bad. That's like why he can't line up like under center. Like that's why he can only be in pistol and shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just
I don't think that's true.
Okay.
That could be, but I doubt it because he had Kirk Cousins in the pistol last year. Kirk Cousins was in the pistol, and we were thinking that's because of the Achilles injury. So unless he got really killed because of 2 mobile quarterback injuries, I don't think that's true because I've seen him barely under center, but I've seen him go under center. So I personally, I wouldn't be mad if Penix was in the shotgun. I wouldn't be mad at that. But I hate the pistol because it's not a mobile quarterback formation, or it's for a mobile quarterback. We don't have a mobile quarterback. So yeah, that's what I have to say because we're pushing time.
No, we've got all the time in the world. But yes, we'll move on to scary sights in MetLife Stadium, but the Packers hang on for the road W. Jameis Winston almost gets it done, but a crucial late game interception gives the Packers the win. Jordan Love left this game with injury. Malik Willis came in for a little bit. Kept the ship steady, I guess you could say, and Jordan Love came back in, And after a little rough start, he got hot, and I think most people could say helped pretty much won the Packers that game. So yeah, shout out Jordan Love. He gets a lot of what's the right
Flack.
word? Yeah, on this show. So want to give credit where credit is due because yeah, it would not be good if you did not win this game.
Agreed. I gotta start by saying Jameis Winston for what he's done for in the position he's been this year, and for the roster he has on the Giants. Way to compete and make this a close game. Definitely, I've always been a Jameis believer, but definitely, I think another chapter where it's like even when he should not be playing at this level with the roster he has, he still competes. So good for him. I still think he should be a quarterback, a bridge quarterback somewhere. Yeah, I think he's pretty solid. But Packers, man, Packers are one of those teams where I want to call them not a Super Bowl contender at all, but they just find ways to win, and that's what you need to do. It's not impressive at all, but they just find ways to win.
Mm-hmm.
Biggest thing for me now is these next 2 weeks for the Packers are huge for me because first of all, Josh Jacobs is out. It's not a season-ending knee injury, but he will definitely be week to week, and I'm thinking he'll probably be out, maybe even go on IR. Matter of fact, it's these next 3 weeks that are so big because they have 3 divisional games: Lions, Bears, and Vikings. All 3 of those games going to be big. So this to me really tells if they're a playoff team or not. Because if they go 1-2, that really puts a wrench in their playoff chances.
Yeah, I think to me I would definitely say they're a pretender. Um, you've seen it. We didn't talk about the results of last Monday night's football game, and trust me, I really don't want to. But if these last 2 weeks have said anything about the Packers, it just really confirms the statement that they just play to the level of whoever they're playing against. It doesn't matter if they're good and they're bad. And as we saw in Monday Night Football team, if they're doing that against a good team, that good team is going to find a way to make the 2 or 3 plays that puts them over the edge. I think
Exactly.
we'll talk about this more on Friday's episode, but I don't think it's going to go their way against the Lions. We'll see about the Bears. We'll talk about the Bears here in a minute. Oh no, we already talked about the Bears, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we'll talk about the Bears next episode though, a lot more. So yeah, it's like you said, it's gonna be a scary few weeks for the Packers. And yeah, the conversations right now would have been entirely different if they did not pull this out. In fact, I was watching into that game. I was watching the late game drive before the interception, and I was already thinking in my mind, yeah, this Packers team's a fraud. Um, can't really say that now. They won the game, but I mean the fact that it came down to so late when that Giants team is just so depleted and so bad, and just lost their head coach. So it's just like, yeah, that's not really a game you can afford to lose if you're Super Bowl contenders. So good late game rally to win, but yes, we'll keep our eye on them the next few weeks. Um, Divisional matchup. We got next 4 games are all divisional matchups, and this is one of the biggest games of the week. Actually, some would argue probably say the biggest. Most would probably say that, but that is the Rams and the Seahawks, where the Rams scraped out a 2-point win, and the talk of the game, besides the fact that Sam Darnold sucks, but Matthew Stafford is playing like an MVP caliber player.
You know, you know what my biggest takeaway from this game is?
Hmm.
As a guy who has the Rams winning the division, again, something I've said on this podcast, they won the game, but I felt like the Seahawks I'm more comfortable with. And here's why. Sam Darnold throws 4 interceptions. That team looked like a shell of themselves. And you know what? Kudos to the Rams defense then. They still won by this much in terms of a field goal kick. Maybe, it was pretty big of a miss, but this much. It was a perfect punt on like the inch yard line. Great punt, by the way. Probably the best punt I may have ever seen. On the inch yard line, almost driving down the entire about 55 yards to put him in position, 60 yards. And he can't, I know Jason Myers can make that kick. It's a very tough kick, though, but he has the possibility of making that kick. The Seahawks defense played exceptionally well. because of where the starting positions where the Rams scored they scored 3 touchdowns. 2 of them came from a short field.
Mm-hmm.
So they basically held the Rams to 1 real drive touchdown. And Sam Darnold threw 4 picks. The Seahawks were not themselves, and they lost on a game-winning kick they have a possibility of making. I still have the Rams winning the division, but that to me kind of said a lot about both teams there, and not in the light of what the final score says.
This game actually, yeah, you're right. It says a lot about both of these teams. I think there was one statistic that said the Rams, like yards gained in opponent territory, meaning yards that they gained not on their side of the 50-yard line, outside of the first quarter. Do you know how many that was, Brooks?
Past the 50-yard line?
Like, no, before the 50-yard line.
Oh, yeah. 1 yard?
1 yard. Through
The
3
Rams?
quarters. Yeah, through 3 quarters.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So yeah, if the Seahawks had any sort of if Brock Purdy was the Seahawks quarterback, they win that game. I'm trying to think. If Bo Nix is the Seahawks quarterback, they win that game. If Jordan Love is the Seahawks quarterback, they win that game. So yeah, Sam Darnold still. I mean, it's just it's been the biggest question surrounding him in the past 2 years is, all right, you've proven to us that you're not this god-awful, terrible piece of shit quarterback on the Jets. You're above average quarterback, but you can't do it when it matters most. And that narrative is going to continue because this is, so far, I think this is the closest game we've had or second closest game we've had this season to a playoff game, outside of probably Chiefs Buffalo 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think this game and maybe one other game that we're going to talk about here in a little bit, but this game was huge for both these teams. Both going in 2 losses, atop of the division, and not for the top of the conference, but top spots in the conference. So yeah, this was huge late in the season, yada yada yada. And yeah, 4 interceptions. You just can't do that as a quarterback of a team that's trying to compete for a Super Bowl. So he's got to lock it in. Shout out Ernest Jones. I don't know if you saw the interview he had after the game, but he was basically standing up for Sam Darnold, which was really cool to see. That's the kind of teammate you want to see, especially on the defensive side of the ball, because those are the guys you're screwing over with 4 interceptions. So hopefully he can recover from this and get back to where he can get better, because their season is still very much alive, but you got to have some things swing your way if you want to win this division now. So we'll see what happens. But moving right along to the other 2 NFC West teams that played this week, and that is the 49ers Cardinals. Won't spend too much time on this. 49ers, the better team, beat the crap out of them. And yeah, Cardinals need to find a QB, because that doesn't look like they have one they like on their roster, because Jacoby Brissett was not doing well.
What?
Wasn't doing great.
Jacoby Brissett not doing well?
Wasn't doing great.
We watching the same Cardinals team?
Maybe not. Hold on.
You see the day he had yesterday?
Hold on.
Or 2 days ago?
Wow, they did not run the ball, did they?
He completed an NFL record 47 passes.
Yeah, I'm looking at that.
NFL record. Nobody's ever done that before. 47. Next was 45. 452 yards, 2 interceptions as help, but 2 touchdowns. Bam Knight had 5 carries for 24 yards.
Yeah, I'm looking at the stats. But how many fumbles that happened? I mean,
One fumble. 3 turnovers that game for the Cardinals.
You just can't put up that many yards and put up this many points.
But compared to Kyler Murray,
yeah,
Jacoby Brissett's been playing better than Kyler Murray this year.
I know he's been playing better, but he's still not been playing great.
He's, in my opinion, not great. Great is a good word. For what Jacoby Brissett is, he's playing better than expectations.
That's fair. I'll give him that.
That's
fair.
what we should say.
but he has not stepped in and become this savior that the Cardinals just magically found.
Of course not.
Okay.
I don't think that's the thing with 200%.
Yeah.
It was
So
Kyler
yeah,
Murray
that
getting
was
injured.
my
So,
whole
yeah.
point of that statement is the Cardinals need to start looking for a quarterback because they clearly are not happy with the ones they have right now.
Well, Kyler Murray's on that big deal for a long time. Didn't they
They're
just sign that last
yeah,
offseason or this
they're
offseason?
gonna. I promise you, they're gonna look to trade him this offseason.
Nobody's going to take him.
Jets.
Nope, nobody's going to take him.
We'll see.
Trust me.
Um,
Jets are going to get a rookie quarterback again.
That'd be even worse, honestly. But
They have a high pick.
another divisional game. Like I said, there are a lot of these. Shedeur Sanders gets his first NFL game action when it actually matters, and it was not good. The Ravens beat the Browns to extend their win streak and continue their playoff push. Not a lot to say about this game, kind of what we expected. I think Myles Garrett, after this game, said, "Don't count us out of the playoffs just yet." And all the memes started circulating with a Japanese soldier who continued to fight World War II 42 years later. So yeah,
Okay, that's actually really funny.
Yeah, let's give it up, big bro. You chose the money. Start planning your vacation because your season will be over in January. And we'll move on to our last afternoon game of the Sunday slate with our last divisional game. And you can maybe argue that this was a playoff atmospheric game where the Broncos, on a last-second field goal, defeat their rival Kansas City Chiefs, who fall to 5-5. So first, we're going to talk about the Broncos because they won. That's only fair. Bo Nix looked pretty good offensively. Not really a lot of bad things to say. R.J. Harvey looked pretty good in the absence of J.K. Dobbins. So I think he's going to get a lot more looks going forward. I'm just talking about like years to come. So yeah, he's definitely kind of solidified himself as that running back that they've been looking for. Defensively, that's where we're going to really highlight for the Broncos. Big game defensively. They were creating a lot of pressure. Not a lot of separation for those Chiefs receivers. And, yeah, it was just causing Patrick Mahomes to really have to play like Patrick Mahomes the whole game, and it did not work out in his favor all the way through. So, yeah, is there anything you want to say about the Broncos?
They are the most surprising winning team because they just look like they shouldn't be winning these games, and they do win these games. Again, it's like the Packers to me, but the AFC East, but much better than the Packers. So, surprising me. I still have the Chiefs in the playoffs.
Wow. Well,
I still do.
Swing right into it then.
I still do. That's what I want to talk about because
the
Broncos
5-5
to me, the Broncos to me, I think with that win, I think I'm gonna put them as my AFC West winners.
Yeah.
AFC West winners, and I think I'm gonna guarantee that.
Yeah, they're 3 games ahead of the Chiefs, 3.5 right now. We'll see how they're on bye this next week, and we'll see how the Chiefs go. But yeah, just look at the Broncos' schedule. Commanders, when they get off bye, they should win that. Raiders, granted that's a divisional game. We'll see how that goes, but they should win that. Packers at home, they should probably win that. Mile High, they get that kind of advantage. Jaguars at home, kind of the same deal there, and I don't think everyone's sold on that Jaguars offense, especially compared to that Broncos defense. So yeah, then it just comes down to those last 2 divisional games, which if you don't lose any other games won't matter because you'll already be 3 games ahead of the Chiefs and the Chargers. We don't even know where they'll be, but so yeah, they might be important. But yeah, I think it's definitely the Broncos division to lose at this point. I don't see how they would fall and lose it. But yeah, the Chiefs also relatively have a pretty easy schedule. Although they do play the Colts next week, so we'll see how that goes for them. But yeah. Brooks is still in on the Chiefs.
I'm still in. I still have faith. It's Mahomes. I still think he can do it. It's Andy Reid. It's the Chiefs. They're one of the best home teams. I like them.
No, you're right. They are, but kind of like the Bills, what happens if they have to play all 3 games on the road to come to playoffs?
It's still Mahomes, baby.
You're right. It is. You're right. It is. But
I'm not saying they're winning, but they're going to make it a game.
That's fair. That's easily fair. But yeah, this feels like the season that they might not make it.
Yeah.
But we'll move on. Sunday night football, where we had a real, I guess,
Barn
stinker.
burner.
I
Real
mean,
high scoring
it was not
game.
that exciting
Real
to
rough 'em and
watch.
tough 'em.
Oh, hold
That kind of
on.
game.
I lost volume. Sorry.
Yeah, you better lose
You were
volume.
saying?
Real rough 'em and tough 'em
Oh,
game.
hold on.
Real high score.
Yeah, you just keep going. I gotta fix this.
Anyways, I will continue to go and yap about Sunday Night Football. He can't hear me, so I'm gonna say it now. Eagles 100%
No,
favored
I
the
can
refs. Oh,
hear you.
welcome back. Eagles 100% favored by the refs.
Oh my
Um,
God. Oh my
and
God.
that is a fact. And if you don't think that, then you're a biased Eagles fan, and that is a fact as well. So, 0-5 on fourth down. However, I can say that, but it's still you need to do better, a little bit better on your plays there, Dan Campbell. And very surprising for Baron Burns, right? Baron Burns. I'll let you get the reins in a second. Let me get my little Eagles rant in there because I have to hear you hear about it, so I'm a little more knowledgeable of this team. The defense, has had its moments this year for the Eagles, but I still think is one of the better units, of course, in the league. I saw Adoree Jackson making plays last night. That's how good the Eagles defense played. There you go. For Barron, if you hear Adoree Jackson making good plays, you're going to win the football game. Now, other side, the offense. I just want to bring this up because I find it very funny. On Twitter, which is the greatest social media of all time, I'll defend it every week. There was a guy who retweeted his own tweet, and it was the original tweet was tweeted 2 hours after the Super Bowl victory of the Eagles. Okay, you are celebrating a Super Bowl championship right now, which, by the way, in America's war is probably the best one. Could be the best one to celebrate. You were celebrating an NFL championship 2 hours after your team just won the game. This Eagles fan tweets out saying, with a very sad kind of picture, and it says, "Knowing Kevin Patullo is our OC next year." 2 hours after the Super Bowl victory, bro sniped Kevin Patullo being horrible. I mean, it was the funniest thing I saw, and it's just how this year's go. Baron Burns, you let me get my rant in. The floor is yours.
Well, I'll start positive. His defense is amazing. Vic Fangio has a real I'm actually not kidding. He has a real claim to Steve Spagnuolo for that claim as best defensive coordinator in the league.
You might get a head coaching job.
No, he's not. He's already said he doesn't want to do that again. He's not leaving. Which is beautiful. I absolutely love that.
Good for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, he's the best defensive coordinator in the league. This unit is playing outstanding. It's amazing what happens when Nolan Smith comes off IR and Jalen Phillips comes into the building, because this unit that was 29th in pass rush pressure or something like that is now at least in the last 2 games third or second. So it's absolutely incredible the job they've been able to do, turn it around. You mentioned Adoree Jackson. I'll give him a shout out for now. He did not allow a lot of catches last night. Now, how much of that was the wind, or 2 nights ago, how much of that was the wind? We don't really know. I feel like a lot of people aren't really talking about it. It was very windy, and it was, at least to me, looked like it was definitely altering passes for both quarterbacks. 1 second.
Take your time. Keep
But
going, son.
yeah, defense, 16 points in the last 2 weeks. Cannot say anything bad about that at all. But I will continue to say it. It does not matter if you have the greatest offensive unit ever assembled. If your coordinator, play caller is brain dead, you're gonna be fucking terrible. I mean, you can go Google AJ Brown's route tree from that game. 2 routes, 2 types of routes all game. What do you think they were?
Curl and streak.
Nope. You got 1 right though.
Curl is definitely one.
What do you call a curl then?
A hook, just up, down.
Yeah,
Was
no.
it not a curl? No curl routes?
Not 1 all game.
Slant.
There you go. goes and slants. That's all AJ Brown's good for, apparently. So yeah, even while we're force feeding him the ball, it's on the most generic route combination you could ever possibly fucking think of. Um, I actually really feel bad for Saquon Barkley. There's the Eagles page that pointed this out. Detroit had 8 defenders in the box on 24 defensive snaps. Saquon Barkley had 24 carries. We'll move on. So yeah, he's just really getting banged up every play. He's really trying his hard to make a loss of 5 turn into a gain of 1. So yeah, I really do feel bad for him. The offensive line is continuing to struggle. We lost 2 starting offensive linemen during the game. Lane Johnson now on IR. Although I do feel pretty confident about Fred Johnson taking his place. He played pretty well against what's the guy's name? Aiden Hutchinson.
Yep.
So I feel confident in him moving forward. Brett Toth absolutely sucks. We need Cam Jurgens healthy and back at it again. And yeah, we miss Mekhi Becton. Can't really say that enough as well. But yeah, Jalen Hurts didn't have the best game either. Whether that was the wind or not, he missed some throws. Yeah, it really just all around was not a great offensive game. And that just all goes back to the play calling. And I don't know if there's a short-term fix. Bring in Brian Dable. Honestly, I would love that because he's been a play caller for Jalen Hurts before. I think the two of them would be great. At least they would click. They wouldn't take too long to get on the same page. I think they'd kind of mesh together perfectly. But yeah, I mean, I don't think there's going to be any sort of drastic change to the way this offense is called or how it's run. So it's only inevitable before there's a playoff collapse. So I'm just emotionally trying to prepare myself for that because despite how historically good this defense has been, this offense is going to be the death of this team. But yeah, looking at the Detroit side of the ball, I mean, they had a lot of defensive injuries and still held the Eagles offense to what it was. So I think a huge shout out to them. How much of it was self-sabotage, we'll never know, but shout out to them. Offensively, Jared Goff, easily probably the worst performance of his career. Again, definitely at least one of.
Super Bowl?
Yeah, okay, maybe that, but all right, so second worst. But how much of that was the wind? Again, I don't think we'll ever really know. No one seems to be really talking about it, but again, to me, it looked like the wind was definitely altering some of those throws.
Yeah.
Jahmyr Gibbs was probably the best running back in the league. As much as I wanted it to be Bijan Robinson, and he can probably still he can still keep the title of best all around back, but Jahmyr Gibbs gets the ball in his hands, and there's open field. Goodbye. I'm honestly shocked he even got tackled. So yeah. I do think it's funny though. Jameson Williams 15-yard penalty cost him that 1 point, and then it was made Dan Campbell like go for it mode for the rest of the game. So I thought maybe that was impactful, but yeah, I think that's the biggest story coming out of the game on the Lions side is 0-5 on 4th down conversions. So what's kind of the fix to that? Obviously, if you've been paying attention to national NFL media, Dan Campbell has taken back over offensive play calling duties from the offensive coordinator. Does that have an effect into it, you think, of how obviously has an effect of the frequency of the calling, but I mean, it just seems
I just give it another week. Like I said, time is always a big thing. If it's 2 in a row, 1 does not make a pattern, 2 makes a pattern. So let's see how he does next week. I think the Lions, is that one of their divisional games they actually have, I think? So that's a big game. No, they have the Giants at home. So that's a game where you tune up the offense a little bit. Not the Giants defense isn't horrible.
no,
Actually, there's pretty solid players on there.
Yeah.
But that's a game where you can tune it up a little bit, knowing that your defense should at least maybe help you out a little bit. So, yeah.
All right. Let's move on. We can do this last one quick. Monday Night Football. Yeah. Cowboys dismantled the Cardinals.
Cowboys offense is good.
Yeah.
Ashton Genty had less rushing yards than I had walking to my fridge
Or
and back.
Raiders. I'm thinking of last week's
Yeah.
Monday or 2 weeks Monday
Um,
night. Yeah,
Max Crosby
Raiders
and Brock Bowers are the only reason that team hasn't has any value.
and Ashton Genty.
He had 6 rushing yards last night.
Because his offensive line is traffic
Correct.
cones.
Correct.
But yeah,
Um,
good job, Cowboys. But
yeah.
we have time. Things that went on around the league this week that we
Let's make it
missed.
quick because I don't have that much time.
All right.
So
There were a lot of handful of players that were asked to sit opening drives, opening quarters. Some were just asked to miss the game altogether. What's been going on with the behavior of NFL players in the league, because that leads into Jamar Chase spitting on Jalen Ramsey.
thanks, buddy.
Afterwards, he claimed he didn't. Video evidence proved otherwise, and he did. And he is now suspended for the New England game, which is not great for New England, or not great for Jamar Chase fantasy owners or Bengals fans. So, to wrap everything up, let's look at some of these tight division races. We talked quickly already about the AFC East, but that is a 2-man race. Patriots-Buffalo. I think the Patriots are going to squeak this one out. I think they've been the better football team throughout this season, and Buffalo just has, I think their defense has too many questions left unanswered for me at this point, and there's going to be another team that comes along this season that is going to expose them. Mind you, they play Philadelphia later in the season.
Yeah. Here's what I have off the bat. I have Philly winning the NFC East. To me, lock.
Yeah.
I'm still going to take the Bucs to win the NFC South. I do not. I think the Panthers' run is unsustainable. I don't think they'll actually. I actually think they won't reach 9 wins this year.
Wow.
I still am on that boat. I think they'll finish 8-9 at best. And because losing to the Saints is horrible. You have Niners, Rams, Bucks, Seahawks, Bucks. I don't think they win 3 of those games. They win 2 of those games. I think my guess, 1 of those games. So I do not have them being a winning football team. I got the Bucks. West, Rams still close. The North, to me, I think the biggest division we talk about are the North in both sides. If we have the Steelers or the Ravens going, I'll just say mine. I'm gonna have the Packers winning the division, and I'm gonna have the Ravens winning the division. Both second place teams going back and winning the division, going first.
Interesting. I have the Ravens as well. I just think the way everything's clicking for them, it's starting to come to fruition, and Lamar Jackson's Lamar Jackson. Not much left to be said there, and we'll see how long Aaron Rodgers is out. NFC North. This might be a little surprising, but I think I'm going to have the Bears winning out.
Wow. Okay.
Let me double check something to make sure I didn't I don't have my facts wrong, but
Bears since week 2 when they lost to the Lions and the Vikings in the first 2 games, that is 7-1 right there.
Mm-hmm.
But their schedule, man.
It's true.
Steelers at home, I like them to win that game. Eagles on the road, Packers on the road. I think those are losses. Browns at home, I like them in that game. I think the Packers at home, the Niners on the road, and the Lions at home are all really tough games as well.
See, I think they split with the Packers. I think they win against the Lions later in the season. I think they beat both of the Niners and the Browns. I think they will lose to the Eagles, beat the Steelers. So, yeah, if you look at it, to me, you look at Detroit, look at the games they have left. Packers, obviously have a get-right game against the Giants, but Packers, Cowboys, that should be a win. But then they got to go to L.A. to play the Rams. That'll be a hard game. Then they host the Steelers. They should win that. But then Vikings and Bears both on the road to close the season. That's kind of a tough way to end it, especially if we're still competing for the conference. And Green Bay, let me look at it as well. got to go to Mile High still. I think they lose that. You'll have to play the Ravens and the Packers, or the Vikings, sorry. Ravens and Vikings, last 2 games of the season, as well as 2 more games against the Bears. Not to mention, we've kind of already talked about their schedule. They're playing the Vikings next week. I think they win that.
Mhm.
But then they go back to Detroit, and I think they lose that as well. So I think the Bears have the easiest path so far, as well as the lead already in the division. I think they have the bet. I just think they have the easiest path.
There you go. All right. Well, my time is running up,
All right.
so
Well,
I have
that's
nothing else
all
to add.
That's all the time we need.
Perfect. That'll be another episode of Nothing Agreed. Thank y'all so much for listening. Who are y'all division winners after week 11? And who is y'all's biggest kind of surprise from week 11 as well? Thank y'all so much for listening, and peace.